Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your weekly DC Sports edition, and I am your host, CWall. You all listen, you all know I always love just getting on here and talking to you all about all of the professional sports teams in DC. I look forward to this, and I hope you all do too, because we have a ball each and every single Thursday. Now, don't we? I think so. I absolutely think so. So, I'm going to give you all a minute to get your DC sports loving family and friends engaged. Tell them to tap in. Tell them to absolutely tap in. We have a jam-packed show as always, right? We're going to do some overall updates. We got Mystics, Wizards, Capital City Go-Go, of course, the Washington football team. Of course, the Washington football team. So you all make sure you are tagging and tapping in your DC sports loving family and friends, because as always, you never ever want to miss it. Also on tonight's show, we will absolutely be sharing the winner of the Fan 53. So we absolutely will be sharing the winner of the Fan 53 at the top of the Washington football team segment. The CWall team is jumping in. Joy, as always, who moderates the show conversation so well, is tapped in. DJ from Sports Journey, I see that you have checked in. Everybody say what's up to DJ Bland from our Sports Journey family. Works closely with Lake Lewis and Corita Parks and others. So welcome, DJ, to the Thursday Coaching from the Couch DC Sports Edition. Cameron Mingo, huge DC sports fans. I want to make sure you all are tagging everybody in this, because we always know that what? Y'all already know. Y'all already know what I'm going to say. I'm trying to give you a minute, because you already know. When is there a dull moment in DC sports, y'all? When? Absolutely correct. Never. Absolutely never. Got to run it again, because I want to make sure this week is no different, you guys. Okay? Absolutely no different. Let's go ahead and get started into the conversation. Top of the conversation, you guys. The DC Sports Hall of Fame is this weekend. Remember, last year with everything going on in COVID, we were unable to enjoy the DC Sports Hall of Fame 2020 honorees. So this weekend, they're going to engage the 2020 honorees as well as 2021. I think you all are going to see some very familiar faces on this list of class of 2020 honorees that they will be inducted this Sunday, since they missed last week. So take a minute to take a look at this fantastic list. I wasn't going to say nothing, but I'm going to go ahead and say Gary Clark, y'all, is in on the DC Sports Hall of Fame. Of course, you see here John Lucas, Jill Ellis, Bob Dwyer, Austin Carr, Herman Boone, and others. The teams of distinction, of course, our championship 2019 Mystics and Nats. They will be inducted on this Sunday during the pregame of the Nats game. And then the 2021 honorees that will be inducted. Check out this list here. Absolutely want to say congratulations to all of the honorees. Not sure if everyone will be, or if anyone will be at the game this Sunday. I know Nats games are sometimes, they're not the most fun to attend these days. However, if you are there, maybe that's a boost for people to go to that game. Maybe people actually want to go to the Nats game because of the presentation of the DC Sports Hall of Fame honorees. Maybe that's one way to get everyone engaged and going to that game on Sunday, because I know that, Nats games are not as fun. And I see that Wallace has checked in. So what's up with you, Wallace? Just in time for a quick Mystics update. Mystics fans, check in. Last week, we were so excited about Alina Deladon coming back. And then what do you know? What happens? EDD's back has started acting up again. Got into a little bit of hustle and bustle underneath the basket, and she has now been out yet again. Tough game the other night between the Mystics and the Connecticut Sun. Connecticut was just too powerful for the Mystics. I do believe that Coach Mike Tebow shared that Tina Charles will be traveling with the team as they go out west to compete. Alina Deladon is unlikely to travel for this trip. So we're still waiting to see. We are still waiting to see what happens with Alina Deladon. We still have not seen a union of Alina Deladon and Tina Charles on the court at the same time. I want to go ahead and share this comment. As you all can see, I'll share comments throughout what Cameron Mingo has here. It's not looking good for the Mystics. The playoffs, they're slipping away. They really, really are. Absolutely not as pleasant, not as hype and as much fun as we thought. And I just felt some type of way. I gotta admit, really quick, before I get on my soapbox, I truly felt some type of way. I said, oh my gosh, we were so hype on the show about Alina Deladon finally coming back. The basketball world was hype about Alina Deladon coming back, and now she's out again. Out again. I don't know, you all. I don't know, but remains to be seen. It's getting a little not too sure what's going to happen there. So, hey, we got to keep an eye out on it and keep engaged with the Mystics, because we would hate to see them completely miss the playoffs. But with everything going on with the injuries, it's going to be kind of tough for certain. So, as Joy puts here, before we get into our next update, make sure you're sharing this show to your page to ensure everyone gets this week's updates in DC sports for certain. Still to come, right up next, we have a Capital City Go-Go and a Wizards update. And of course, we absolutely have to get into the Washington football team. You all know there will be a lot to discuss regarding the Washington football team for certain. So you want to make sure everybody is jumping in there for sure. The Capital City Go-Go has a new coach, you guys. Everyone, let's welcome and congratulations to Mike Williams as he was named the head coach of the Go-Go. He's the former Wizards player development assistant, and he is the third head coach in Go-Go history. Williams begins his fourth season with Monumental Basketball, spending last season as a player development assistant with the Wizards, while also serving on the Erie Bayhawks coaching staff. So Williams will have served as the head coach for Erie in 2 games. So we want to say hello and what's up and congratulations to Mike Williams, if you all had not heard the news already. So, of course, we're super excited to welcome him. Well, not even welcome him because they're a part of the Monumental family. But, hey, still, welcome again into his new role, because I do think that's very important. Very, very, very important. Wizards fans, check in. Wizards fans, make sure you are checking in. Wizards fans, the preseason schedule is out. Sharing it here on the screen. The 4-game 2021 preseason schedule, which includes 2 home games at Capital One Arena. Let's take a look here, you guys. I mean, it's preseason, right? So we just want to make sure everybody stays healthy and the team is starting to gel. But as you can see, the Wizards will be in Houston to see their old friend old Mr. John Wall. Then they'll be home for the Knicks game, October the 9th, Raptors game, October the 12th, and then the Knicks again at the Garden on October 15th. No real reactions from me there, you guys, quite honestly. We're going to pay attention in preseason. We're going to be paying attention in training camp because it's absolutely important. And I think it's something that we all need to be paying attention to, just as we did with the Washington football team, right? So more to come, more updates. I do think this is a season where Wizards fans really want to be paying attention, considering that there's a new head coach, considering there's a ton of new players. So hey, let's see what happens, and let's see where we get to with this new Wizards team, because it is new as far as we're all concerned. So we'll check them out. We'll have more updates as time goes on, but we absolutely wanted to share and give a shout out to the new head coach of the Capital City Go-Go, Mike Williams, and as well as share with you all the Wizards preseason schedule. And oh, by the way, don't forget, I share with you all, Capital City Go-Go is having tryouts this weekend and next weekend. Make sure you register. I mean, shoot your shot, literally. You can try out. There's nothing wrong with trying out, everybody. You give yourself a shot. Why don't you? So, hey, you never know. I mean, I might try out. That's not true. I'm not going to try out. But what I will do is encourage you all to try out, because I honestly think that you should. Now, Washington football team fans, where are you? Washington football teams. I think I've seen David Hood check in. I've seen the CWall, Chaplain, Mazdak Merrick, as I like to say all the time and share with you all, a family that prays together, stays together. So Mazdak leads us in prayer, the CWall team. So, and we also know that Mazdak is a huge Washington football fan. So Washington football team fans, I need you all to check in. Check in. Let me see something. Is everybody here? Because I'm actually about to announce the winner of the Fan 53. Yay. See, dang, I should have had some music. I know it was something. I was like, wait, I'm all excited about announcing the winner of the Fan 53. And I'm like, I should have had some music to go along with this. All right, you guys. So here is the winner of the Fan 53. Are you all ready? Are you ready for this? Congratulations to the winner of the Fan 53. It is D'Angelo Pope. D'Angelo got the most responses correct on that roster. I almost feel bad calling it a final roster. But, you know, hey, listen. I see, Wallace, I see your comment. Yes, you should have done a 53, because what else do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. So D'Angelo Pope, if you are watching, congratulations to you. You did get the most correct responses right. If I recall, I think you had like 49 or 50 right. It was pretty impressive. I was like, oh, that was good. So, hey, listen. If D'Angelo is not on, we will absolutely be reaching out to D'Angelo directly to give him his prize. Everyone else that sent in a submission, thank you so much for entering. It was actually kind of fun. I said, whether they realize it or not, by the time I finished grading all the papers and grading all the submissions, I was like, okay, well, hey, I guess I know the roster backwards and forwards now. So, speaking of that, let's hop to it. Really quick, I'm going to show this on the screen. It's going to definitely cover me up, you guys. If you can see it, here is the roster. And I think there's probably already some people missing. So we're going to take a moment and look here at this roster. I'm not going to leave it up for too long. I want you all to comment in the chat surprises with the roster, things that were not so much of a surprise to you. I really want to know what you all are thinking so far about this roster going into the 2021 season. So this is your active roster currently, and right here, this is the list of the signed players to the practice squad. So 15 players to the practice squad. Of course, you will see many of them are all players who were on the roster all throughout OTA's training camp and preseason. So what was it? Everybody they cut, I think, cleared waivers. So Washington had an opportunity to bring back just about everybody, almost, not everybody, but almost everybody to their practice squad. So I feel like it's a little quiet. And I feel like people don't really have much to say about this roster. So up DJ, my sports media colleague, that I'm going to share his comment here. So DJ has the question of, he's still trying to figure out how the drop simple passes from Cam Sims, how he makes it over AGG. You know, it's interesting because I'm such a Cam Sims advocate. I am. And typically when I'm an advocate for certain people, I'm actually pretty critical as well. I try to find a reason to cut Cam Sims every year. I try to find a reason. I'll be like, did that wrong. But I think it was pretty obvious once he did not play in preseason game 3 that his position was stamped. I said, okay. I think Cam showed up big in some games last season when Terry was working through his injuries and Terry was dealing with some challenges from, it just wasn't his game. And those types of games, that is where Cam had had an opportunity to show up, in which he did. Now, we do know Cam has a history of not making catches when he should. And DJ joined Karita Parks and Wole and Darrell Owens. All of us did a show together on Clubhouse for preseason game 2. And I think even on there, we were watching Cam and we were like, geez, Cam is he makes you want to hold your breath. He really does. So for me, it's like, okay, I understand the impact that he made last year. I know they really like Cam. They consistently see Cam's upside. AGG, I think he was just a little bit, it was still taking him some time to come up to speed. He just didn't seem to be getting it. But because they brought him back on the practice squad, that, says a lot. What also said a lot to me was that nobody got picked up. And I was just like, what is going on here? Nobody got picked up. So what's that really, really mean? So more to come there. I think if they were going to not, if they were going to cut AGG, they should have at least still kept Kelvin Harmon. They should have kept Kelvin Harmon around at least to the end to see if he had a shot. I'm going to share Russ McCray's comment here, the kicker. Listen, you all let me know if you yourself or anyone would like an opportunity to try out for the kicking position. That's going to be an issue. That was going to absolutely be an issue. Let us pray every time Dustin Hopkins has to make a field goal, because it is just that bad. When he's kicking, I just can't even, I couldn't even find a nice way to say that, y'all. So I just couldn't even say it. I don't know. David Hood, Peyton Barber, a surprise. Yes, Peyton, they cut Peyton and brought him back on the practice squad. I really think one of that is where they decided to go with the 3 backs. I think what happened there was that Jared Patterson just showed up and showed out. He showed up and showed out. So super impressive. What a great news story. We like to say good news stories, but I'm talking about, this is a great news story that we have on this team with Jared Patterson. And he just said, hey, we gonna go with JP here. And I like it. I was okay with it. I was okay with it. I know that there was some questions about Peyton Barber being that short yardage back, considering that he had lost weight, and is he going to be able to really get those short yardages? I think we saw in preseason game 2, they were starting to kind of see what Antonio Gibson can do there. Of course, throughout all of preseason, they were seeing what Jared Patterson was doing, and I think he just overly impressed everybody. So he's the third back, and I'm okay with that. I think that works out tremendously. Going back to the wide receivers, and I'm seeing you all's comments coming in. Keep them coming. There was always, I think I missed a question here or missed a comment because I wanted to acknowledge Wallace's comment. Don't forget that Curtis Samuel will also be in the backfield. I know there's a lot of concern about Curtis Samuel, but you have to understand that his coaching staff and Curtis Samuel have a tremendous relationship. He absolutely knows the system. So they are literally not concerned at all about Curtis Samuel, whether or not he'll be able to play or not week 1. Still sounds like it's up in the air, but there's not a concern. And I think that's extremely important to continue to remind everybody, is that they do have a Curtis Samuel. Now, what is super interesting, of course, they went with 7 wide receivers, but we know that these wide receivers will also be operating in the capacity of your kick returner and your punt returner. So I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. Kind of knew that AGG was going to be out. So, but he's back on the practice squad. So that's nice. That's good. It's absolutely good. I am personally not too impressed with the linebacker position. That was something that, we've all been a little worried and concerned about. So we'll continue to see what happens there in that position group. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like, hey, and I'm messing around with my ring here, but it's okay. Hey, as long as I'm most concerned about everyone staying healthy, because that last preseason game was on my nerves really bad. And I said, hey, look, let's just hope there's not a multitude of starters on IR at the same time. Because if so, the team is in trouble. The team is in trouble. And Wallace, I see your question here. I think that David Mayo, I pulled up the practice squad again, because I think I wanted to mention something about Jeremy Reeves. I know a lot of folks were upset about Jimmy Moreland not making this team, and not making the practice squad. I believe they ended up signing David Mayo back to the 53. And Jimmy lost his spot, y'all. I wanted to acknowledge your question first, Wallace, about David Mayo, and then I need to get back to the defensive backs and Jimmy Moreland. Jimmy Moreland lost his spot. I am a Jimmy Moreland advocate, and when that class came in, I had the pleasure of building relationships. After interviewing these guys one-on-one, you have the pleasure of also building relationships and talking to them. I almost tell myself, no new friends. This is work. You interview them, you get to know them from that capacity, but hey, you got to leave it there. So Jimmy got beat out of his job. We know that defensive backcourt is good. We know that McTire and St. Juice, they've been playing well, very well, all throughout preseason. And so it's Jimmy's some of the versatility that Ron Rivera is looking for is Jimmy doesn't have that. That doesn't seem like he had that. So I wish Jimmy nothing but the best. I'm a Jimmy Moreland advocate. So, but it is what it is at the same token. Kind of is what it is. You hate to see people go. You can't keep everybody. So that is what that is. Any more surprises from anybody? I'm not surprised at all. Here's what actually Joy Butler on the CWall team. Joy wanted to bring up a comment that Coach Rivera made and at the end of today's press conference, and I hope you all can still see me because I'm clicking around on everything. So I'm looking at the transcript from today. I think today is September the 2nd, right? So at the end of today's press conference, and just so everybody knows, I think everyone should know, yes, Chase Young was out. No, Chase Young does not have COVID. So let's just say that out loud. But at the end of today's press conference, Coach was asked about the possibility of adding another quarterback to the roster. And so what Coach Rivera said was, I tell you this, we're looking at a couple of positions right now, and you guys will hopefully have something shortly to write about as far as that's concerned. But right now, I don't want to talk about it because we're still trying to work through some things. Now, I don't, of course there'll be news dropping soon. And if you all have not learned this yet about Coach Rivera, he's not big on, the rumor mill and, all the media hoopla. He's not with that. He's not with, all of the dropping dimes and hints and all of this and just all the breaking news. He will tell you it will be news when it's news. And he will tell you when he wants to. And you got to respect that. You have to respect that he wants to keep the rumor mill down as much as possible. But wanted to share that with you all because I thought it was important. More to come there, obviously. So we'll see what happens. We'll absolutely see what happens. Now, before we close out, I have to do this. And I was talking to Joy about this a bit before we started the show. And I said, just being real, transparent, because I'm an advocate for transparency. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And I said, well, next Thursday, here's the lineup. Here's what we're going to do with the show. We'll probably have to talk about Washington versus the Chargers. I think that's important. I said, but however, I have to give, now that the roster is set, when the schedule first comes out, we do something on the show where we go through the schedule and we say, here's where we are. Here's what we're looking at. Are they as good as advertised? Is the defense as good as advertised? Will Ryan Fitzpatrick get the ball down the field? We really take a hard look at the schedule early on. And then once the roster is set, we say, well, what does it look like now? Now that we know what the roster is going to be, how are we feeling about the season? Right? And I said, well, maybe I should do it. Was I supposed to do it tonight? Because my agenda is complete for the most part. I was like, well, here's all the updates. And I was like, well, I can wait and do it tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next Thursday. But you know what? I think we might need to get into it a little bit tonight. Let's get into it a little bit tonight. And then next week, because as things change, because Ron Rivera has basically already told you all that the roster is going to change. We'll see a little bit of it, some more movements made, I'm sure, within the next week or so. But I really want to know, not so much in terms of going through the schedule, but from an NFC East perspective, how are you really feeling about where the Washington football team sits in the division? And be honest. I'm going to ask you all that. I want you to be completely objective and honest. And while you all are sharing your comments in the chat and we're talking through exactly where you think this team sits in the division, let me just say this. Can the Washington football team beat the New York Giants this year? Why do they just let the New York Giants just literally it's sad every time, every single time. Now, last year I had some feelings about both of those Giants games last year, right? Because one came down to, what was it, a 2-point conversion where the team could have kicked the field goal. Well, you got Dustin Hopkins kicking field goals. I don't know. But you could have came down to the field goal and it was all this controversy. Do you kick the field goal and go into overtime, or do you try to go for the win? And the team went for the win and lost. Then they played the Giants again after the bye week. And myself and others were thinking, oh, this is the revenge game. Team coming out ready. They're going to be ready for this. And they lost. And it didn't look good either. And these things happened without the Giants having Saquon Barkley. Okay? All right? So I just want them to beat the New York Giants. Now, hey, listen, it's always beautiful when you beat the Dallas Cowboys, because I don't care what happens in life. The Washington football team, the burgundy and gold, must beat the Dallas Cowboys. Must absolutely beat the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Scott Kennedy, I want to bring your comment here to the front because I think it's important. I think it's important here. And you already called it the NFC league. Is the only reason that the Washington football team won the division last year. I wholeheartedly agree. 7-10, that's not going to work. That overall losing record, that's not going to work this year. It's just not going to happen. So I wholeheartedly agree with that as well. So be thinking about that. There'll be some changes across the league, across the division in what the rosters look like, right? So we shall see. There's absolutely more to come. The season is absolutely long, right? It is a marathon, not a sprint. But hey, this is something to be considered. If Dak Prescott comes back, I'm going to put one of Russ's comments back up here. Hey, Dak makes Dallas the best team in the division. It's absolutely arguable that he is the best quarterback out of the rest of them in the division. See, Dallas could have made a run at it last year. I think the reason why Dallas season went in the manner in which it did is because Dak got hurt. Dak got hurt. It changed Dallas' whole season last year. And I'm gonna share this when Wallace 7-10. No, exactly right. So Wallace is agreeing with Scott. 7-10 won't work, but this is key. What Wallace is saying, hard to imagine them winning 10 plus games with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Still some questions about the quarterback. Now, we absolutely know that there was never any doubt that Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to be the starting quarterback. But can this team, can this offense make noise? Can they make a move with Ryan Fitzpatrick leading the charge? I was talking about this earlier with some folks. Hey, here's the reality. Your quarterback is the leader of the team. When you go in here, you have to know and trust your quarterback. And do we trust Ryan Fitzpatrick? I don't know. So much more to come. So, hey, I'm excited. It may not seem all this. I think I'm a little somber because it's like, well, this is a long, long season. So we shall see. And let's just go ahead and close out with this right here, what DJ has. Hey, listen, could Cam end up in DC? I guess anything goes right now. Cam isn't anywhere else right now, so who knows? But I don't know. I don't think so. But hey, if he's available, we shall see. You guys, we made it another week. Another week of Coaching from the Couch, another Thursday. So you all, even though we do this thing live, you can still share this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. You guys, listen, we will be back next week with an entirely new rundown of all things happening in DC sports. We'll also have some more announcements, things going on in CWall sports and entertainment land that we absolutely want to share with you guys, but you're going to have to wait until next Thursday to hear all about it. So you guys stay safe, and I will see you guys next week.